In today's world, the emergence of new technologies for improving health is common. Binaural rhythms, despite the fact that they were discovered in the XIX century, have so far been little studied. Their use with various purposes is very popular today all over the world. Does binaural music really affect the human brain, and is it able to help people overcome problems? What are binaural beats? Binaural beats are characteristic of the brain of many animals and, of course, of humans. In all living things that have to hear audio channels, each sound enters the brain stem through neural connection. In the upper oral care of each of its hemisphere, an auditory response is formed by an electromagnetic pulse. If a person put on headphones and in the right ear only one sound with a frequency of 200 oscillations per second, and in the left ear one sound with a frequency of 205 oscillations per second, then both hemispheres of the brain on the basis of actually inaudible sounds work synchronously. Each of them produces a corresponding electromagnetic wave. The superposition generates a phantom sound with a frequency equal to the difference of the original sound waves, 5 vibrations per second. This elegant acoustic illusion binaural rhythm and sometimes creates the effect of surround background sound. One of the sound engineers with the well-known British record company told the world that even in 1983 the group Pink Floyd, when recording the studio album The Final Cut, used binaural beats, which make some of their compositions affect surround meditative sound. Binaural music with the superposition of sounds of nature, murmur of water, rustle of foliage, or even movement and reaction of chemicals, as musical compositions for relaxation, meditation, or, conversely, concentration of will, can be found today in the vastness of the Internet. But how effective are all these tracks? In the 1950s and 1960s, American research engineer, radio magnate and writer Robert Allen Rode, who studied the influence of binaural rhythms, came to the conclusion that the effects of sound vibrations allow a state in which human consciousness separates from its physical body. How this happens when listening only to almost silent sounds, which are perceived exclusively by the brain, the author described in his book Travels Outside the Body, published in 1971 in the United States. Literary work has attracted the attention of many esoteric researchers, neuroscientists, medical scientists. In 1974, the Monroe Institute was founded, in which binaural rhythms and other sound vibrations are still studied today. All current developments of audio stimulation, aimed at concentrating, reducing stress, improving sleep, are based on the technique of Monroe, created by him in the last century. How effective such traces of audio stimulation are, hardly anyone can say exactly, except for the specialists of the Institute. The user, when listening to such songs, manages to achieve the claimed effect. For example, a sense of happiness. Others believe that all this is a complete quackery and they do not experience anything. neuroscientists from the University of Warwick, Coventry, UK, studying the brain activity of people listening to music for meditation, clearly found that hemisphere of their brain responds to beats that are clearly registered with the help of electroencephalography, but no other accurate evidence of the influence of rhythms, for example, on the hormonal system of subjects, was eventually obtained. Meanwhile, one of the most resonant ideas that can be heard by followers of binaural music is the theory that it is able to change the activity of body cells. That is, in them, in the cells, some biochemical reactions are activated under the influence of rhythms, and others slow down, and all this can be controlled. The electric potential of the membrane of each cell changes its permeability to ions, and other processes at the molecular level occur in it. Therefore, binaural music can positively affect the entire human body as a whole. Dr. Aditya Shukla of the Indian Scientific Institute, Bangalore, published in the National Professional Medical Edition a few years ago his study on the positive effects of binaural rhythms. An Indian scientist believed that such additional background stimulation can help people suffering from attention deficit and hyperactivity. Since it is usually difficult for you to focus on one thing, listening to binaural music will take a large part of your diffused attention to yourself. Part of the brain is forced to respond to rhythms, and the rest of its neural activity refers only to the performance of the main task. That is, the patient's concentration on a particular business is actually achieved. But, unfortunately, Dr. Shukla rejected the idea of using binaural rhythms for medical purposes. The beneficial effect was too short. The concentration of attention from listening to binaural music lasts no more than 10 minutes. Next, address. Shukla said, the brain of a volunteer involved in his study began to experience exhaustion. The man explained his severe fatigue and desire to go to bed. And so it happened with all his patients. In other words, strictly scientific evidence of the beneficial effect of binaural music on human health does not yet exist. But individual experiments can judge that these rhythms have some kind of influence on the brain activity of a person, and most often may show positive results. Listen to music in video clips must be in stereo headphones. Otherwise the binaural effect will not occur.